Hello everyone, December is almost upon us, also known as the month where I pretend I have infinite reading time and no holiday obligations. Let's see what books I'm delusionally adding to my TBR this month. And let me know in the comments what you plan to read in December. My name is Jim. This is my channel. Books, reading, and stuff. In November, I finished 6 books and I DNF'd this one. I couldn't resist that. And I have 8 books or 9 books on my December TBR, the books I plan to read in December. I know it's a bit ambitious, I probably won't get to all of them, but I will try. First off, there's Charles Dickens. I did finish Nicholas Nickleby in November, which was the last of his completed novels. In December, there's an event on BookTube, The Ghost of Christmas Past. One of the things for that is a read-along of The Signalman. I thought I might have The Signalman in here, Dickens at Christmas. I don't. But this does have a Christmas ghost story. The Haunted Man and the Ghost Bargain, so I might read that one, or I might read The Signalman. I might find it online. I'll put details to the announcement videos for The Ghost of Christmas Past in the notes below in case you want to participate. In November I was very happy to find this, The Meursault Investigation by Kamel Daoud, Algerian writer. This, as you might have guessed if you've read The Stranger, L'Étranger, The Outsider by Albert Camus, is a response to L'Étranger. This is written from the point of view of the brother of the murdered man. Meursault in here murders an Arab who's not named. Here this Arab is named as Musa and it's his story. This has been on my radar for a long time and I finally found a copy of the book. Also, continuing my reading of Georgian fiction in English translation, something I like to do on this channel as I live in Georgia, the country. Not a lot of Georgian fiction is translated into English, but I was happy to find this. This is Of Old Hearts and Sword by Aka Morchiladze, which is a pen name, and it's set in the 19th century about a young nobleman, Baduna, who comes out of prison and finds his brother, who was in an asylum, has wandered off, and he's searching for his brother across a fractured Georgia. The east of Georgia is controlled by the Russians, the west is under the Ottoman influence. So I expect to learn a lot about 19th century Georgia, and also this will be the first time I've read Aka Morchiladze. Another book I was pleased to come across in November. English books are still quite rare here. There's a lot more available now. This one I found secondhand, The Martian by Andy Weir. This has been on my want to read list for a long time. I watched the film, I enjoyed the film, and it's one of Neil deGrasse Tyson's favourite films because the science is very good in it, which isn't always the case with sci-fi films or sci-fi books, and I'm excited to read this. It's about an astronaut on Mars who, after a storm on Mars, is left behind and has to survive until a time when he can get rescued. From my October TBR or even my September TBR, I'm not quite sure, I had this, I still haven't got to it, Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins-Reid. I want to read a book by her. She's often at the top of the Goodreads Choice Awards for historical fiction. This is about a band, a fictitious band in the 60s and 70s. Looking at the cover, it might be a band like Fleetwood Mac, although it's a fictitious band. I haven't seen this Netflix or Amazon Prime adaptation, but I'm looking forward to this. For non-fiction November, I had The Dinosaur Hunters by Deborah Cadbury. I'm over halfway through it. Non-fiction is more of a slow read for me because it's not a story gripping me, but I'm fascinated by what they find. This is about 19th century paleontologists and the disputes between them. Some are very religious and don't think the earth could be quite as old as some of the others are suggesting. There's also the hints of evolution before Darwin by some of these paleontologists. Others think it's a travesty, it's sacrilegious to talk about evolution, and that these strange reptile fossils they've been finding seem to contradict the creation tale from the Bible. And tying nicely in with that, I also have the Voyage of the Beagle, which I haven't started yet. This is Charles Darwin's journey when he went around the world, particularly what he discovered in South America, things which will form the basis for his Origin of the Species, which put evolution firmly on the map. I put a poll on my channel on the community tab as to which book I should add to my TBR. For a long time it was The Lost Apothecary and The Silent Patient that was leading that. But now I just looked today and now The Crooked Kingdom is number one. This is the second book in a duology. The first was Six of Crows. It's about a heist, a fantasy heist that goes... The heist goes well, but there's implications afterwards, and this is following the story after the heist. And it's YA, Lee Bardugo. I've read The Ninth House by Lee Bardugo, which I really enjoyed, and I read Six of Crows as well, which was enjoyable. So I'm quite happy that this is top of the poll. I did have The Lost Apothecary also on the poll, and I've started that. I'm halfway through The Lost Apothecary. It's by Sarah Penner. It's got two timelines. One is in 1790s London, which I'm revisiting because this Burning Bright, which I read earlier in the year by Tracy Chevalier, is also set in 1790s London. And two of the characters, Nella and Eliza, are in the late 18th century London, and one character, Caroline, is in contemporary times. Caroline finds a glass vial while she's mudlarking on the Thames, and it hints at what was happening in 18th century London with this lost apothecary where poisons and also medicines to help women with women's problems was about, in the 18th century, a very secret apothecary. And it's a fascinating read so far. So I might be reading a couple of the books from the poll, if not three of the books, because I'm also interested in reading The Silent Patient. It's a thriller, but it's often compared to Frida McFadden. So those are the books I plan to read in the month of December. I'm not worried about hitting my Goodreads target, as I'm already on 70 books of 72 that I set as my target. I should be able to read at least 2 books in the month of December. I expect to read about 6, and maybe I'll read all 8 or 9 that are on my TBR. And if not, they can spill over into the new year. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know your plans. If you've read any of these books, let me know if you enjoyed them or not. And I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.